Sugar Bush Spring by Marsha Wilson Chall, illustrated by Jim Daly. In the month of the maple sugar moon, the snow is too wet for angel making. Icicles rain from Grandpa's porch roof, and something is stirring in the woods. It's Sugar Bush Spring. Grandpa hitches Rosie and Jack to the cutter. My fingers peek out of my jacket. No mittens today. And Rosie nuzzles my hand for a treat. Maple candy tomorrow, I promise her. She stomps and twitches and jingles her harness bells. I wave to Grandpa, but he pulls me up next to him. This year, you come with me, he says, then hands me the reins. Rosie and Jack know the way. I bounce the reins on their rumps as light as Grandpa would. Sugar time, Rosie. Hee-up, Jack, he calls. Into the woods we slide, under branches that hold up the sky. A crow puffs out his satin chest. Caw, caw, caw. The sun blinks on a tree-striped snow. Where's the sugar, Grandpa? Inside the trees, he says. Feeding them, helping them grow. The trees give us their extra. I find 2 holes in a maple, one on each side, like front and back belly buttons. Last year's taps, Grandpa tells me. We'll open new ones this year. Tap, tap, tap. There's one. Tap, tap, tap. Then the other. I hang a pail beneath each of them and wait. The sun side spills first. Ping, ping. Dripple, dripple, dripple. She's running, Grandpa, I shout. Grandpa half fills a jelly jar with sap. Spring tonic, he says, then sips and passes the jar to me. I squint my eyes into microscopes. No bugs, no specks, ice clear. Let's tap this one, I shout, and try to reach around a trunk as wide as Rosie. Too old, says Grandpa. See all the taps? She's given and given till she's nearly given out. How about this one, I ask, wrapping my hands around another tree. Too young, Grandpa answers. She needs all the sugar she makes this year. She'll be ready when she fills up your arms. All around the sugar bush, I measure who is ready, filling up my arms with trees. We drill and tap and hang pail after pail until my feet are freezing and the drip, drip, dribble of 100 trees has stopped. Grandpa, the trees are empty, I shout. Grandpa laughs. They're just too cold, he tells me. We'll have a freeze tonight. They'll rest up and run hard again tomorrow. Time to head back. Hee-up, Rosie. Home, Jack, I call, and we slip through the purple woods under the maple sugar moon. When I wake the next morning, frost is melting on my window. I know that the trees are busy. The temperature is rising, the sap is running, the buckets are filling, and neighbors and friends have come to cook. Grandpa gives us jobs. Mama and Dad drive Rosie and Jack through the sugar bush to give the sap from our buckets. Donna May washes last year's syrup bottles. I polish them sparkly. Grandma makes chicken and dumplings to feed our hungry crew. Molly and Ryan and I haul firewood into the sugar house. Daniel has built a monster fire to boil the sap. Jim will cook it down into thick syrup rivers. The sugar house puffs out wet clouds as soft as fog. Ben and Ian leap through them and disappear. You're it, Ryan tags Molly. Over here, I shout. Molly chases me in and out of maple steam, bathtub warm, cotton candy sweet. Already the sugar house smells like pancakes. Is it syrup yet? I ask Jim. Too soon, he says, and taps the thermometer. Should be 219 degrees, 7 degrees to go. I keep my eye on that thermometer. 215, 216. The bubbles creep higher, swelling to the top of the pan. There she blows, I yell. Jim flicks in a drop of cream, and the sap settles right back down, dark and gleaming. A watch pot never boils, he tells me. The silver needle jumps 218 degrees. The sap boils into fine golden bubbles. 219. Jim pours a caramel bubble from his long tin scoop. We've got syrup, he shouts. Grandpa draws off the syrup, the first 2 gallons, and filters it clean. Too hot to taste yet, but just right for sugar tree snow, he tells us. He drizzles the steaming syrup on the snow where it instantly hardens, then trails it into ribbons for us to pull and stretch and share with Rosie. Jack-wax, Grandpa calls it. Around the cook fire we eat dumplings, roast marshmallows, and tell stories while the cold sap flows into the pans, heats through, and thickens and boils. We stir and dip and skim till we draw off 3 more gallons. But we're not done yet. 200 more gallons of sap to cook before bed, Grandpa says. We toast our toes and take our naps in chairs in laps or on dogs. Daisy doesn't mind. We pop corn and play checkers and parcheesi way past our bedtimes until we have cooked the day's last batch. 10 gallons in all. Grandma and Grandpa fill the bottles with syrup, hot gold in gallons and quarts and pints. We seal them tight and lay each bottle on its side to cool. At last, we are done for the day. Grandpa sets the first bottle in place on the windowsill next to the first bottle of last year's syrup and the first bottle of each year's before that. Bottles colored like fall leaves, yellow and honey and bronze. A fine light amber, fancy grade, Grandpa declares of this year's batch. There's room in the pantry for plenty more, enough for a whole year of pancakes, maple cream and candy. Then still some to sell. Enough till next year when the woods stir and Grandpa and I fill our arms with trees. The end.